Chapter 1. Representation of Geographical Features. A quick glance. Classification of topographical sheets. Locating places on the map. Showing different relief features on the map. Contours or contour lines. Identifying landforms through contours. Drawing a profile or cross-section. Colors used in topographical sheets. Settlement patterns shown on topographical sheets. Interpretation of topo sheets. The word topographicus is derived from two Greek words topikos, which means landforms, and graphein, which means to write. Hence, topographical sheets, more popularly called maps, are representations of the Earth's surface or a part of it drawn on a flat surface. It represents both the physical natural features and the cultural human-made features on a single sheet of paper. These features are represented on a map with the help of symbols, words, lines, and colors, which are conventionally used all over the world. All the maps are drawn to scale, which is the proportion or ratio between the actual distance on the ground or the earth and the distance shown on the map. The scale of a map is decided depending upon the purpose of the map, the size of the area to be represented, and the size of the available paper on which it is to be represented. The scale used in a map can be indicated in different ways. Suppose you have to show a distance of 10 kilometers on the ground as 1 centimeter on the map. The scale of your map will be represented as 1 centimeter equal 10 kilometers. This is called representation of scale by statement, which is printed on the map and can be indicated by a graduated line. Now, this same distance can also be indicated by the ratio 1:10,0,0,0,0, which is known as representative fraction. In this case, the distance on both the sides of the ratio must use the same unit of measurement. If you know the scale of a map, you will be able to calculate the actual distance on the surface of the Earth. The maps may be classified into two broad categories: small-scale maps and large-scale maps. When larger areas are represented on a small map, it is said to be a small-scale map. Such maps can provide very limited information. For example, the maps found in the atlas are small-scale maps. If a part of the city, town, or village is represented on a map, more details can be shown. Such maps are called large-scale maps. For example, tourist maps are large-scale maps. Topographical maps. Topographical maps are large-scale maps that do not only show the physical features such as rivers, mountains, plateaus, forests, etc., but they also show the cultural features such as roads, railways, bridges, etc. In India, topographical maps are prepared by the Survey of India, which is a department working under the Ministry of Science and Technology. These maps are drawn using the scale of 1 inch, half inch, and quarter inch respectively to a mile. In metric system, the maps are represented as 1/250,000, 1/50,000, and 1/25,000. Locating places on the map. Most of the topographical sheets or topographical maps cover a relatively smaller area that does not have enough meridians or parallels to form a grid. So, a grid is made by drawing vertical north-south lines and horizontal east-west lines in red color. They form cells like in a graph paper. Places on a map can be located by deciding the cell in which they lie. This network of lines is known as a grid. This type of a grid is known as arbitrary grid system. The bottom left corner or the southwest corner of the map is called the starting point for numbering the grid lines. The lines drawn to the north of this point are called northings, and those lines that are drawn to the east of this point are called eastings. They are generally drawn 2 centimeters apart. The grid or square so formed by the intersecting northings and eastings are called grid squares, representing an area of 1 kilometer on the ground. Both these lines are numbered in 2 digits like 01, 02, 03, 04, 20, 56, 59, 99. The value of eastings increases eastwards and the value of northings increases northwards. This numbering helps in giving reference to the location of a place. While giving such reference, eastings number is quoted first and then the number of the northings. Showing different relief features on a map. Different relief features on a map are shown by using contour lines, spot heights, and benchmarks. Out of these, the most popular, precise, and useful are contour lines or contours. Contours or contour lines. These lines are imaginary lines that are drawn on a map, joining places which have the same height above the mean sea level. They are drawn in brown color on the basis of the actual field surveys conducted by the Survey of India. These lines never intersect each other. However, they may appear to touch each other where there is a break in the form of waterfall or cliff. Each contour line has its numerical value. This contour value shows the height of the land above the mean sea level in meters. The difference between the 2 adjacent contour lines is called contour interval. This interval remains constant throughout the map depending upon the scale of the map and slope of the land shown in the map. This interval is 20 meters on a map. The horizontal distance between any 2 adjoining contours is known as horizontal equivalent. It may vary depending upon the slope of the area. Every 5th contour line is called the contour index. It is distinguished by its bold representation. It appears thicker than other lines, identifying landforms through contours. The contour lines on a topographical sheet help us to identify the different features of the landform shown. Each landform has its own distinctive contour pattern. Height. A contour marked as 700 meters indicates that all the places joined by it are 700 meters above the mean sea slope. The nature of the slope is depicted by the spacing of the contour lines. If they are evenly spaced, they show uniform slopes. Widely spaced contours indicate gentle slopes. Closely spaced contours show steep slopes. Irregularly spaced contours show undulating slopes. The values of contours decrease from higher level to lower level in the direction of the slope.
Hills.
Concentric contours whose value increases towards the center represent a conical hill or mountain with a uniform slope on all the sides, whereas concentric contours with increased value in between but with differently spaced contours on both the sides of the center represent a symmetrical hill. The peak is represented by the center of the innermost contour. Plateaus. Plateaus are highlands that have an almost flat top with steep slopes on one or more sides. Closely spaced contours show the steeply sloping sides of the plateau, whereas widely spaced contours show the sides with gentle slope. The contours of a plateau are drawn in an elongated manner whose value increases towards the center. The contour with the highest value shows the top of the plateau. Ridges. A long narrow strip of highland with steep sides is called a ridge. It is a chain of hills joined at the base. It may have many peaks. Elliptical contours that are closely spaced with their values increasing towards the center are drawn to show a ridge. If two hills of a ridge are separated by a gap or pass, it forms a col or saddle. The gap is narrow with steep slopes in a col, whereas the gap is wider in a saddle. If the saddle has a transport route passing through its gap, it is called a pass. Equally spaced contours enclosed within two concentric circles are drawn to show a col or saddle. Valley, a low-lying area between two hills or ridges with the river flowing from its narrow end to the wider end, is called a valley. A contour to show a river valley is drawn in the shape of letter V with its narrow end or apex showing the higher land and its arms showing the lower land. Drawing a profile or cross-section. If the features related to a landform is cut vertically by a straight line, the side view of the cut is known as cross-section or profile. The cross-section or profile helps us to understand the type of landforms and their related features such as height, slope, etc. Cross-section or profile can easily be drawn on a map which has contours representing the relief features. The steps to draw the cross-section are given below. Mark 2 points A and B on the map and join these points forming a straight line AB on the map. Draw another line CD on the bottom of the map parallel to line AB. Mark the points where the contours cut the line AB. Similarly, mark corresponding points on the line CD, ensuring that the points on the line CD are same as on line AB in their placement. Draw vertical lines joining both the corresponding points on the lines AB and CD. Draw horizontal lines to line CD equally spaced. The number of these lines should be equal to the number of contour lines, and they should be numbered as per the numbers allotted to the contour lines, with the value of the lowest line CD marked as 0. Thus, both the vertical and horizontal lines will form a grid on the relief presented on the map. Mark the points where the relief touches the grid and draw a smooth curve to show the profile or cross-section. Colors used in topographical sheets. Different relief features are shown in different conventional colors. Water bodies that contain water are shown in blue, whereas those that are dry are depicted in black. Forests are shown in green. Cultivated lands and uncultivated lands are shown in yellow and white, respectively. Types of roads, buildings, and grid lines are shown in red color. Contours are drawn in brown color. Railway tracks and boundaries are drawn in black color. And so are the lines of longitude and latitude, if any. Settlement patterns shown on topographical sheet. Settlement is a place where people live in villages, towns, or metropolitan cities. Factors responsible for the development of settlements are availability of fertile land, favorable climatic conditions, availability of water, minerals, industries, etc. Settlements can be broadly classified in two broad groups: temporary and permanent. Temporary settlements are those areas where people stay for a short period of time. Once the purpose for which such settlements are developed is fulfilled, they are abandoned. The inhabitants of such settlements are mostly nomads. Such settlements on a topographical sheet are shown in the form of squares with red outlines. Permanent settlements are those settlements where people live for a very long period of time. They have a layout plan. Such settlements on a topographical sheet are shown by solid red squares. These settlements can be rural or urban. These settlements are shown on a topographical sheet in the following patterns: compact or nucleated, scattered or dispersed, linear. Compact or nucleated settlements are mostly found in plains where the land is plain and fertile. Water is easily and abundantly available. Transport facilities are developed and industries have been established. They may also develop around a place of worship. Scattered or dispersed settlements are mostly found in mountainous or densely forested areas and deserts where the accessibility is poor. The houses in these settlements are scattered and are far apart. Linear settlements are generally found along the banks of rivers, coasts of seas, roads and railway tracks, where houses are built in rows facing. Snippet. The earliest maps were very simple diagrams drawn in caves in prehistoric times. The first proper manuscript maps appeared in the 12th century. The map of the Holy Land, printed in the Rudimentum Noviciarum, an encyclopedia of world history published in 1475, is considered the first modern printed map. A maple of the Rudimentum Noviciarum was sold of £500,000, $829,000. The U.S. Library of Congress paid a record $10 million for German cartographer Martin Waldseemüller's Universalis Cosmographia, a wall map of the world printed in 1507. It's the only surviving copy of the map, which was the first to use the name America. Interpretation of toposheet. Different colors are used to represent different relief features on a topographical sheet, about which we have studied earlier in this chapter. The toposheet of any area can be interpreted under the following headings. Regular information. Under this information, we get to know the name of the place, number of towns or areas it is divided into, area of the place, its longitudinal and latitudinal extent, contour intervals, etc. Settlement information. This provides information regarding the patterns of settlements, location and size of rural and urban settlements, industrial and economic activities, etc. Transport and communication information. This part lets us know about the means of transport and communication in the concerned area marked in black color on the topographical sheets. Relief information. This information educates us about the major landforms and their location with their distinct relief features. Agricultural and economic activities. This part gives us information about the types of natural vegetations found in the region. It also tells us about the types of occupation followed by the inhabitants. Drainage information. This tells us about the main rivers of the concerned area and the path they follow. Glossary. Graduated, marked with divisions indicating degrees or units of measurement. Undulating, a continuous up and down shape. Asymmetrical, having such parts that do not correspond to one another in shape, size, or arrangement. Elliptical, having an oval shape. Recap. Topographical sheets are representations of the Earth's surface or a part of it drawn on a single sheet of paper. Topographical sheets cover a relatively smaller area that does not have enough meridians to form a grid. So a grid is made by drawing vertical north-south lines and horizontal east-west lines in red color. Different relief. Features on a map are shown by using contour lines, spot height, and benchmarks. Contour lines are imaginary lines drawn on a map joining places which have the same height above the mean sea level. The cross-section or profile helps to understand the type of landforms and their related features such as height, shape, etc. The settlements are shown on a topographical sheet as compact or nucleated, scattered or dispersed, and linear.